Electrical equipment that produces sparks under normal operation requires careful consideration, particularly regarding its placement and application. This is especially true in environments where flammable materials may be present. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides guidelines and requirements for electrical installations in various locations, including those classified as hazardous. The NEC addresses situations where sparking is inherent to the equipment's function. Some electrical devices, such as certain types of switches, relays, and motors, inherently produce small sparks during the normal operation. These sparks, under specific circumstances, can ignite flammable gases, vapors, or dust. Therefore, the NEC classifies locations based on the potential for explosion or fire hazard. These classifications include Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3 locations, each further divided into Divisions 1 and 2, depending on the likelihood of a hazardous material being present. Class 1 locations involve flammable gases or vapors, Class 2 locations involve combustible dusts, and Class 3 locations involve ignitable fibers or flames. Division 1 indicates that the hazardous material is normally present or frequently present, while Division 2 indicates that the hazardous material is present only under abnormal conditions. Equipment installed in these classified locations must be specifically designed and approved for that purpose. This equipment is often referred to as explosion-proof or intrinsically safe. Explosion-proof equipment is constructed to contain any internal explosion and prevent it from propagating to the surrounding atmosphere. Intrinsically safe equipment is designed with very low energy levels, preventing the generation of sparks or heat sufficient to ignite a hazardous atmosphere. The selection of appropriate equipment for a particular classified location requires careful consideration of the specific hazardous material, its properties, and the likelihood of its presence. The NEC provides detailed guidance on the types of equipment permitted in each class and division. For example, in a Class 1, Division 1 location, only equipment specifically listed for that location is permitted. This equipment must be explosion-proof and capable of withstanding the pressures generated by an internal explosion. In a Class 1, Division 2 location, equipment that is explosion-proof, purged and pressurized, or intrinsically safe may be permitted. Purged and pressurized equipment uses a positive pressure of clean air or inert gas to prevent the entry of hazardous materials into the enclosure. Intrinsically safe equipment limits the energy available to the point where ignition is impossible. When dealing with equipment that sparks under normal operation, it's crucial to ensure that the equipment is properly rated for the environment in which it is installed. This includes verifying that the equipment is listed for the specific class, division, and group of hazardous materials present. The equipment should also be installed according to the manufacturer's instructions and the requirements of the NEC. Regular inspections and maintenance are essential to ensure that the equipment continues to function safely. Any damage to the equipment, such as cracks or corrosion, should be promptly repaired or replaced. It is also vital to ensure that all seals and gaskets are in good condition to prevent the ingress of hazardous materials. Furthermore, personnel working in hazardous locations should be properly trained in the hazards associated with the materials present in the safe operation of equipment. They should also be familiar with the emergency procedures in case of an accident. In addition to the NEC, other standards and regulations may apply to electrical equipment in hazardous locations, such as those issued by the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, and other relevant regulatory bodies. These standards provide additional guidance on safety practices and procedures. It's important to consult with qualified electrical engineers and other experts to ensure that electrical installations in hazardous locations comply with all applicable requirements. They can assist in the selection of appropriate equipment, the design of safe installations, and the development of comprehensive safety programs. When considering electrical equipment that sparks under normal operation, always prioritize safety and adhere to the requirements of the NEC and other relevant standards. By taking these precautions, it's possible to minimize the risk of fire or explosion and protect personnel and property. The presence of sparks during normal operation of electrical equipment necessitates a thorough understanding of hazardous location classifications and the appropriate selection and installation of equipment. The NEC serves as a crucial guide in ensuring electrical safety in environments where flammable materials are present. Firstly, it's vital to correctly identify the hazardous location classification based on the type of flammable material and the likelihood of its presence. Secondly, ensure that all electrical equipment installed in a hazardous location is specifically listed and labeled for that particular class, division, and group. Thirdly, install the equipment in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and the requirements of the NEC, paying close attention to wiring methods, grounding, and bonding. Fourthly, implement a regular inspection and maintenance program to identify and address any potential hazards, such as damaged equipment or deteriorated seals. Fifthly, provide adequate training to personnel working in hazardous locations, ensuring they understand the risks and safety procedures. Sixthly, consider the use of additional safety measures, such as gas detection systems and emergency shutdown systems, to further mitigate the risk of fire or explosion. Seventhly, consult with qualified electrical engineers and other experts to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and standards. Eighthly, maintain accurate records of all inspections, maintenance, and repairs performed on electrical equipment in hazardous locations. Ninthly, review and update safety procedures regularly to reflect any changes in the environment or equipment. Tenthly, prioritize safety above all else, and never compromise on the requirements of the NEC or other relevant standards. The NEC provides specific articles addressing hazardous locations, including Article 500 and subsequent articles that delve into the details of each class and division. These articles outline the types of wiring methods, equipment, and grounding requirements permitted in each location. For instance, in Class 1 locations, explosion-proof conduit and fittings are typically required to prevent the propagation of an explosion from within the conduit system to the surrounding atmosphere. In Class 2 locations, dust-tight enclosures are necessary to prevent the accumulation of combustible dust on electrical equipment, which could lead to overheating and ignition. In Class 3 locations, measures must be taken to prevent the accumulation of ignitable fibers or flames on electrical equipment. Furthermore, the NEC specifies the types of electrical equipment that are permitted in hazardous locations based on their temperature rating. The temperature rating of the equipment must be below the ignition temperature of the flammable material present in the environment. This prevents the surface of the equipment from becoming hot enough to ignite the surrounding atmosphere. The NEC also addresses the use of intrinsically safe systems in hazardous locations. Intrinsically safe systems are designed to limit the energy available in electrical circuits to a level that is below the ignition energy of the flammable material. These systems typically use special barriers and components to restrict voltage and current levels. When installing electrical equipment that sparks under normal operation in hazardous locations, it's essential to follow a systematic approach to ensure safety and compliance. This approach should include a thorough hazard assessment, proper equipment selection, careful installation, regular inspections, and ongoing training. A hazard assessment involves identifying the types of flammable materials present, their properties, and the likelihood of their presence. This information is used to determine the appropriate hazardous location classification. Proper equipment selection involves choosing electrical equipment that is specifically listed and labeled for the hazardous location and that meets the temperature rating requirements. Careful installation involves following the manufacturer's instructions and the requirements of the NEC for wiring methods, grounding, and bonding. Regular inspections involve visually inspecting the equipment for any signs of damage or deterioration and testing the functionality of safety devices. Ongoing training involves providing personnel with the knowledge and skills necessary to work safely in hazardous locations. In addition to the technical aspects of electrical equipment installation in hazardous locations, it's also important to consider the human factors involved. Human error can contribute to accidents, even when the equipment is properly designed and installed. Therefore, it's crucial to implement a strong safety culture that emphasizes hazard awareness, safe work practices, and continuous improvement. A strong safety culture involves promoting open communication, encouraging employees to report hazards, and providing them with the resources and support they need to work safely. It also involves holding employees accountable for their actions and recognizing and rewarding safe behavior. By combining technical expertise with a strong safety culture, it's possible to minimize the risk of fire or explosion in hazardous locations and protect personnel and property. The goal is to have robust safety protocols and the awareness to work with electrical equipment that may create sparks during normal operations.